this activity, right, is to be able to make a positive impact while you are doing your probing, right? When you're trying to determine your customer's needs, this is the perfect time, right, to not just get what the customer needs or what the concern is about or the other underlying concerns, right? It is also the best time, right, to build a positive impact or build rapport or an emotional connection with your customers just by properly acknowledging and asking the right probing questions. Now, remember, right? I know I said this about a lot of times earlier, right? The importance of not saying sorry or never apologizing, right? Or saying do not worry, right? Because these statements, these words, these are like negative words. It gives affirmation, right, to your customer that what they are experiencing is right. It gives them power over you, right? It makes them feel like their concern has been justified. Now, the thing is, we are simply in the part where we haven't opened their account yet. So we really don't know at that point if we are indeed at fault or if it's just a misunderstanding, right? So our scenario is gonna be why is my bill so high, right? Like I'm looking at a $500 bill, right? Normally my bill is just like around 200, 300. So what the hell is going on with you guys, right? So this is one of those scenarios, right? That a lot of our experts, a lot of our representatives are having problems about, right? Trying to, well, build emotional connection, right? Or actually resolve the issue. 'Cause sometimes they come out as if uh, they're gonna be defending the bill, right? That's what we don't want to sound like. Like we are gonna defend that the bill that they're looking at is correct, and what we're doing is simply going to check, right? And see where the charges are coming from. So that is not the way you want to continue with that call. Because first off, right, we don't know if those charges are valid or those charges should not be there to well in the first place. So the activity, right, you will do your beautiful warm ear to ear smile welcoming greeting, right? You got that covered. You will introduce yourself and the company, right, with confidence. You will ask for your customer's name, right, to make it more personal. So they would not feel that they're just a number in queue and now it's their turn to give you their grievances, right? You will say hi, you will greet them, right? So how are you doing? How can I help with a big smile? It's just like giving them a great handshake and that you are ready to help them with their concern. Now, always make sure you acknowledge, right? Do not try to be on a defensive side right away. So acknowledge their concern. Do not say sorry. Instead of saying sorry, say thank you for bringing this up, right? Thank you for calling us regarding this situation without saying sorry, right? Oh wow, that is a big difference, right? Let's go ahead and find out what's going on, right? Let me pull up your account. May I have your passcode, your PIN, right? Your password, so we can go through those charges together. That's how I want you to take that scenario, right? To get control over it. Your customer will not feel that you're going to defend the company, but you are going to be with them together, looking at their account, find out what's going on, and then fix it. If it needs to be fixing. All right. So make sure you remember that because I'll be sending you off to another breakout session with your teammates. Right. So you'll be able to practice and and check if you can. I know it's going to be challenging, right? Especially for the tenured ones, right? Because you're going to have to unlearn, right? Those canned responses. I apologize what you're getting through. I understand where you're coming from, right? And yeah, so go ahead and try what I just did. The more you try it, the more you become comfortable with that kind of scenario and how to handle it, right? And that will gonna be the best way to do this, to make that habit, to build that character, right? To build that confidence when tackling these types of calls. So if you guys are ready, I want you to give me a green check, the same teammates that you have, right? And keep on practicing. Now, the challenge is sometimes you feel like, I already got it. I don't have to do it again, right? But please, for the sake of the others, do it, right? Practice it. Make it yours, right? Make an adjustment if needed. If you feel like you found a better way to do it, right? Or there's like an upgrade on our approach, after the breakout, please let us know what you've just found out. I want the team to learn from this. Okay, so you're done with practicing from warm welcome, right, to asking the right probing questions, and of course, giving that assurance that you're going to be helping them, right, and then go to verification. So let's go back to that scenario. All right, why is my bill so high? Now, we are gonna be practicing a lot on this type of scenario because this is one of those scenarios that is truly challenging, right? A lot of our experts are having difficulty in this type of well, call scenario. So remember when we started probing, right? When we probe, it's all about getting more information and at the same time building rapport. Now, let me just talk about the yes ladder concept, the mirroring concept, like what they like, hate what they hate, to be able to build trust, right? Because trust can be built if your customers like you. And the only way that they like you is if they figured or they think that there are similarities between you and your customers, right? The concept of like what they like. Does that make sense? Give me a golden rabbit if that makes sense to you. All right, very good. So, part of our approach, if you remember, I always ask for the amount that they're looking at. If you haven't figured it out, the reason why I do that, right? Not only just to build the, well, to get information, but to also start building rapport. So how does that go? Right? Customer calls in, well, I'm looking at, well, why is my bill so high? Right? I'm looking at a $500 bill right now. This is outrageous. So I'll be doing the difference approach, right? Whenever you do this, make sure that you are ready, that you can compute because this involves math. Now, not everybody is good with numbers, so you better be prepared. So let's say the customer says, why is my bill so high? And then you ask, well, how much are you looking at right now? Now remember, that's how my approach is go direct to the point, right? I do acknowledge by doing the same emotion like, oh, well, how much are you, well, looking at right now? Right? So it's as simple as that. I don't do, I'm so sorry to hear that. I understand where you're coming from. I don't do that. So go straight to the point. Oh, how much are you looking at right now? And then the customer says, I'm looking at a freaking $500 bill or a freaking $200 bill, or I'm looking at a freaking $100 bill, right? Whatever the figure is, do not respond with, oh, that's a huge amount. Oh my God, that's a lot. No, don't do that. Not just yet. All right, dealing with our American customers is different compared to dealing with local customers. For one thing, if there is a change on their bill for, like, let's say $10, 25 cents, 50 cents, Filipino culture, we do not complain about those. But American culture, if there is a change on their bill, no matter how small or big it is, they will call to complain. That is just how it is, right? So let's say the customer says, "I'm looking at a $300 bill." Don't say, "Oh my God, that's like a lot," because for all you know, the expected bill is only $299, and that dollar change made them pissed off, right? So what do? We address that there is a concern, but we do not overreact. Does that make sense? So I'll continue following up with another question, right? How much is your expected amount? Then they will tell you the amount. So let's say I'm looking at a $300 bill, right? Well, how much is the expected amount? Well, about 250 or 270. All right, so that might be true. They're probably making an estimate. But whatever number that they give you, start computing. Start making that brain of yours working, right? Or probably do an approximate as well. So if the customer says he's looking at a $300 bill and the expected amount is just around 250, right? So that's roughly around what? $50 difference. You guys agree? So I will emphasize on the difference. So I would probably do, "Oh, okay. Well, that's like what? A $50 difference?" And then I'll do right or yes, right? To get the yes ladder, right? To have them agree and agree that we are both agreeing. Make sense? All right. So not only that it shows that you have listened, but you understand where the customer is coming from without saying, "Well, I understand where you're coming from," right? So go for the difference. "Oh, okay, so that's like a, wow, $50 difference." Yes? And then the customer says yes. So you guys agreed on one thing. And then you do your response, right? That I will take a look into what's going on, and we're gonna find out where the difference is coming from. Right? So we are gonna be doing this together. Now take note, the reason why I want you to do that, not only because it helps the customer think of the problem is not as big as what he thinks it initially is, right? Because before the customer called you, the problem is worth $300. In his mind, he's complaining about $300, and that is a huge amount. Right? No matter what the difference is, when they call in because they have seen a $300 bill, which is unexpected. But in their mind, it's $300, and that's a huge amount. Now, when I do the difference, right, from the amount that they are expecting compared to the amount that they have received, it lowers down the amount that they're actually complaining about. So the effect would be, or should be, instead of the customer complaining about $300, he will now be thinking of the amount that is less than that, which is just the difference. So it's just a $50 difference, and that is the problem. That is what you're going to help them with. That is what we're going to find out where that $50 is coming from. Does that make sense? Because some of your customers, their focus is on that $300, where in fact, they should only be worrying about $50. In some scenarios, what they're looking at is a $500 bill. And when you ask them how much is expected, well, it's around 470, 480. Oh, okay. So we are looking at like what, $20, $30 difference? Yes? And then the customer agrees, yes, about right. And then I'll repeat. So $30. I'll pause. I'll let that information sink in so that the customer would think, okay, so it's not really the 500 I'm worried about. it's just $30. So the big elephant that you think is going to be the problem has just become a size of a cat, which will make it easy for you to handle these types of call. You guys agree? So always remember that. When you're dealing with why is my bill so high, I always start with, well, how much are you looking at? Start with facts. I'm looking at a $500 bill, 550 to be exact. Oh, okay. Well, how much are you expecting? How about 520? 520 versus 550. So that's like what, $30, $20 difference. That's right. Customer will says that's all right. All right. So it's $20. So thank you for letting us know about that difference. Right. I would not want you to pay more than what you should. It's a good thing that you called us. Right? We don't want you to pay for something you did not authorize. All right. So if you're now the customer, how would you feel? I'm going for, we're on the same page. I'm going for, yes, you got what I want, right? That's exactly what I feel. I'm also going for, well, it's a good thing your company does not want to cheat me. In fact, you want to help me out, find out where that difference is coming from. What I'm going for is the $500 bill or $500 complaint or dispute. I've lowered it down to merely about $20, $30. Does that make sense? Do you think that would work if you guys use that on that type of scenario? All right. So we are hoping for the customer to calm down. Think about the big problem into a small problem. Think about you as an expert, right? And you will help them out. They did not call a person that will defend the bill printed because they are ready for that. They're ready to do battle with you. But what I want them to realize is that you're not there to defend the bill, to tell them that those are valid charges, but you are there to find out where the difference is coming from because you truly want to help them out. So if those are valid charges, you'll be able to tell them what it is. If those are invalid charges, right, it's a good thing that the customer called so we can help them dispute those charges or investigate where those charges are coming from. That is what we're going for. If you are a customer service representative or an expert dealing with these types of calls, that is how it should be done. If you agree, I need to see those green check. If you have other opinion regarding our approach, right, let me know. All right. So that's like a lot of information to take in, and you will include that in your role play. Remember, it won't work if you just know about it. You have to do it, you have to practice it. It's all about those muscle memory, those kinesthetic memory. It's not just about what you know. It's about how you do it, when you do it, and how consistent that you do it to make this approach effective. And if it's not going to be effective, at least through trying, through experience, we will find out if we need to modify it a bit, if we need to do some change on that type of approach. Oh, another thing. I know this, you guys are probably like overloaded, but yeah, this is not an easy scenario. So here's another tip, right? Remember the time when I asked, oh, all right, so you're looking at a $500 bill, and your expected amount is like, well, you're looking at a $500 bill, and the expected amount is like what, 450? So that's a difference of, if you notice, I always wait for about 2 to 3 seconds because I'm waiting for the customer to do the computation for me. I'm going for the customer participation. I'm going for the customer thinking about that situation. So I normally leave about 2 to 3 seconds for the customer to do the math for me. Right? So you're looking at a $500 bill, and you're saying The amount of bill that you should be receiving monthly is about 450. So that's a difference of if the customer answers, yeah, that's a $50 difference. I'll do right. That's right. All right. So we agree on something. It's $50, and I emphasize on that difference to lower down that $500 problem down to a $50 problem. And we agree on it. All right. So let's leave it at that for now. I know that's a lot to digest. All right, we're gonna go back to our approach regarding this scenario, right, after we practice some more. So we've added some new information, new things to practice on. I hope you guys are ready so we can go to the advanced stage, right? My advanced approach on why is my bill so high.